I rejoiced in the Lord greatly, that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again. In other words, I'm so excited that you at this hour have decided to take care of me. Wherein you were careful, but you lacked opportunity. He's not blaming him. He's saying, I know that you cared about me, but you just didn't have an opportunity. Then he says a very remarkable thing. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. Now, he doesn't, again, just like he said when he said, I take pleasure in infirmities. And I said, he didn't really mean that, oh, I love these infirmities. He's just saying, these infirmities are not going to get the best of me. And again, he means the same thing here. He says, when he says, I've learned in whatsoever state, and he means condition or circumstance. He doesn't mean state of Oklahoma. He means, oh, that might apply to whichever state. I'm in Oklahoma, but I'm going to be content. But he doesn't mean state like that. He means whatever circumstance he's in, therewith to be content. He doesn't mean by that he's indifferent. He just means I've learned how to deal with it. It's not going to get the better of me. See, Paul's just like the rest of us. He wasn't looking for trouble, and he wasn't looking for to make. He's not what's the word? A masochist, wanting to suffer. But he says, I have learned how to be independent. These things that come upon me and these circumstances I find myself in, they're not going to get the best of me. I'm going to stay on top of it. That's what he means by that. Verse 12. I know how to be abased. I know how to abound. Abased means brought low. Humbled, in other words, just like he said before. How to be humiliated. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I'm instructed to be both full and hungry, to abound and to suffer need. What he's saying here is, I have learned how to deal with whatever circumstance I'm in. Whether I've got everything I need or whether I'm suffering some kind of lack, I'm on top of that. He says, those things don't dictate to me. See, that's what he's saying by that. Now, what is the secret then? And he tells us the secret, verse 13. Listen, I can do all things. Well, what things is he talking about? I can face all things. That's what he means. I can deal with whatever comes. I can handle any infirmity. I can handle a shipwreck. I can handle a beating. I can handle a stoning. I can handle false brethren. I can deal with being in a Roman prison. I can deal with the anxiety of coming before a madman named Nero. You know, tradition tells us, by the way, that he did appear before Nero. And I would have liked to have known what he said. Wouldn't you like to have been there and heard what he said to him? That would be interesting to know. And I'm sure it was powerful. And I'm sure it really got to the heart of the thing. And I'm sure it convicted Nero. I think it did. Because we're told, this is not in the Bible, but tradition tells us, just in the writings of the church fathers, that Paul was taken out not long after that and executed. And his head was cut off. Nero was known to do things like that. But Paul's saying, none of these things, you know what he said in the book of Acts, none of these things move me. That's pretty powerful. In other words, I can't control what happens out here, but I can tell you one thing, they're not going to get the better of it. Nothing out here in this external life is going to overcome me or get the best of it. Here's the secret. I can do all things, meaning I can deal with or face all things through Christ, which strengthens me. See, Paul's saying, I'm going to lean on Christ, and we just heard in Corinthians, His grace, His favor. I'm just going to lean back on Christ and His grace and His favor, and He gives me the strength to deal with whatever's coming along. And I don't have to have any worry. I don't have to have any anxiety. I don't have to fret about it or figure it all out, because Jesus said, my grace is sufficient for you. Now, Paul wrote that to the Corinthians. Why do you think he wrote that to them? So they would read that and understand the same thing's true of them. And it's in the Bible for us so that we would read it and understand the same thing's true of us. And just one more time, we don't face all the things he faced, but what we face is important and serious enough for us. But the same thing's true. We can face and deal with everything just like he did, through Christ, who gives us the capacity, who gives us the strength, who is strong in us when we're weak. When we're weak, His power rests on us. That's the point.